Hi, welcome to Yin Yoga Yang Pilates. This section is aimed at the difference and how it affects you when you have your legs positioned for some of the frontline stuff. So let's just take a dart as an example. So if you just lay down your arms by your side, you want to block for your forehead or you don't have a cushion. So what I'm getting at here, once we do the legs, the foot, well technically it's actually what happens in the hip joint and what happens with the glutes. Depending on what the glutes, whether the glutes are working or not, will depend on the position of the femur, the position of the feet. So as a basic, certainly I usually do all the toenails touching the ground, so the foot is what's called in a neutral position. So the heels are in line with the toes, and you can basically feel all your toenails on the ground. And then from that position, I will call that a neutral position, so the femur is neither rolled out nor rolled in. So if you know your hip anatomy and the glute muscles are attached to the hip joint, there's got about 6 short external rotators. So they're slightly fired up in a neutral position. That's just mechanical, that's just what happens with anatomy. So arms by your side. So just do a dart. So you're tilting the pelvis, that's it, and you keep your feet down, keep them weighted, and then lower down. So that's a neutral position, that's what I start people off at a basic. So what happens when we alter the leg position, we usually say turn the feet out, turn the feet in, but it's more what happens to the femur and the hip joint as we do that. And it will also depend on what you as an instructor want them to get out of it. So for someone like Tanya, who knew Pilates for donkey's years, Pilates teacher and instructor, so let's say we want to challenge her back muscles. Usually the main reason I give this movement is for control of the body and to work the upper spinal extensors of the body. So for someone like Tanya, I'd be having them pigeon toes, big toes touching, heels out to the outside, but it's not really what happens in the feet we're interested in, it's what happens in the hip joint. We've now technically internally rotated the femur, which puts these 6 short external rotators on a stretch. Any muscle that's lengthened is very good at contracting, but it can't contract. So, but in a nutshell, by having them in that position, you're switching them off. So now to lift up, just one dart, just using dart as an example, go for other movements as well. Tanya now, it's mechanical. Providing she keeps the leg in that position, she hasn't got those muscles to help, and the other glute muscles as well, I hasten to add. She hasn't got them to help her get up. So that should theoretically mean the upper back extensors, you can lower down now, are working slightly harder. She hasn't got the glute muscles assisting her. Conversely, I usually do this more, maybe on a so-called beginner, have them the opposite, have them in turn out. Automatically, and it's mechanical, when you have your feet turned out, the glutes fire up, they should fire up. And now just do a dart. It should feel, I used to hate to use it any easier, it should feel a lot easier, because you've got the glutes to help with that lifting up. It's the way muscles work, the way they fire up, and slowly lower down. So that's just the leg positioning and how it can affect the movement. If you really wanted to focus on someone in particular, getting the upper thoracic extensors, I would suggest pigeon toe. But you also need to get them to listen. It's about getting your clients or yourself to be body aware is the hardest trick in Pilates and most things. It's what happens also, as I didn't mention, but I will, just lie yourself down. And I sometimes just get to roll in and out. But again, you get them to focus on the feet, but it's really more what happens on the femur, on the thigh bone, rolling them in and rolling them out. And listen in particular to an area called the sacroiliac. Sort of feels as if it's pinching. So when the heels are together, you turn out, you're closing this angle up, almost as if you're pinching and impinging on the sacroiliac. Not wrong in that, I'm just saying, just getting to feel that. And if you want to work on sacroiliac, in particular lower back, have them in pigeon toes, just opens that area up. For me, you're killing a few balls. When you start doing dart and the likes of that, you're just getting a bit more for your money, a bit more bang for your buck, because you're opening this sacroiliac region up as well. That's all, there's just things to consider, and getting away from this absolute of the feet must be in pigeon-toed, and it must be this distance or that distance apart. Any questions, any comments?
No, I can definitely feel it makes my back work more when I'm in pigeon-toed.
In pigeon-toed, yeah, because you haven't got, it's just mechanical, putting muscles in stretch, and you're making your back muscles
Feels quite good actually.
have to work harder.
Yeah.
And that was a Yin Yoga Yang Pilates, which is a bit of a tongue twister for me. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, or YouTube, Facebook, wherever you find us. Just give us a shout out.
Bye. Bye.